Last time on One Piece. Every other clash has finally come to an end. Orochi has been slain by none other than Denjiro. And fitting, since he was with Orochi the longest, waiting in the wings, it's that payoff of all of his patience. And with everything we've seen up until now, being reaffirmed, the monster that was Orochi, and how Kaido was the complicit monster in all of this, the driving force behind so many of Orochi's actions. It's finally time for Kaido and Luffy's final clash, with Luffy creating a massive fist. Here comes the giant fist! And Kaido enveloping himself in a magma dragon form that burns at the touch. It is only thanks to Luffy's Ryuo training that he's able to stave off Kaido's intense heat. So now, as the two titans clash, and Momonosuke tries desperately to push Onigashima and move it someplace else, specifically out of the way of the giant fist, what happens now? Does Luffy manage to overcome it? Of course he does. What series do you think you're reading? But how? How does he do it? Let's find out. Alright, jumping into chapter 1049. The world that should be. Interesting. So, is this like Kaido's musings? The way he wants the world to be? Something like that? Also, it looks like Niji and Yonji have been freed. Someone knew that setting Montador's books ablaze is the one way to free the contents inside. So it is a full-on prison break. Kind of figured as much. In Germa Double Six's, An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 11. Why? The book in the lab burned up, freeing the brothers. Alright, so the Vinsmokes are free. What will they do with that freedom? Well, we'll see next chapter. But until then, oh jeez. So we got the clash between Kaido and Luffy, and it looks like Kaido's flame dragon form has managed to bite down on Luffy's massive fist as Luffy cries out, "Ah!" Meanwhile, Kaido says, "Well done. You fought hard to reach this point, but you cannot change the world." And Luffy grimaces in pain. Yep, Kaido's going down this chapter. We got the flashback. We got that flashback. Okay, you see an explosion in the distance of a nearby town. People say, "He did it. He's only 10 years old, and Kaido's already the ultimate soldier." And Kaido says, "I want more combat." This is very reminiscent of the backstory of Douglas Bullet, isn't it? A child soldier. And little Kaido. I mean, yeah, that's a little Kaido. Just seeing him through the ages, huh? 46 years ago, Vodka Kingdom. Of course it's called the Vodka Kingdom. Someone says, "Our country cannot stop going to war now. We have to win and loot the enemy to pay our heavenly tribute." The desperation of some people to pay their tribute to the Tenryubito and the world government. Otherwise, the world will take away our human rights. Dang. But Kaido says, "Why does everyone bother to obey those celestial dragons anyway?" Someone shouts, "Knock it off, Kaido." So he was already rebellious. But, I mean, he asked the good questions. It's just like, why are we paying them anyway? And I guess the king of the Vodka Kingdom says, "I'm enlisting you'll join the Navy." And we see Kaido wrapped in chains. And Kaido says, "Why should I be a government lapdog?" And I guess the king says, "Because our country doesn't know what to do with you." And a Marine says, "In exchange for custody of Kaido, this country will receive the right to attend the next reverie." And Kaido shouts, "Don't use me as some political pawn." Kaido's rebellion is very justified. He was strong. He was a fighter. He fought for his country, only for his country to just use him, pass him off. They didn't know what to do with him, and the government wanted strong fighters. There you go. Very similar to the situation with Big Mom, interestingly enough. It's kind of funny. The world government essentially created their own problems when it came to both Big Mom as well as Kaido. Because the whole Mother Caramel incident was only because Mother Caramel was a government agent on the low, selling off children. And now you got Kaido being sold off to the Marines, and he rebels after that, doesn't he? Yep, sure enough, you see on a marine vessel, explosion, and someone shouted, Kaido's escape! And his very first bounty, wanted, dead or alive, Kaido, 70 million. And then you got Marines shouting, we captured Kaido! He escaped again? He gets caught when he's hungry, apparently. So that's all of his imprisonments. People have stated before, it's just like, oh, Kaido can't be that great. I mean, with all the times he's been captured, he gets captured because he's hungry. He's like, I ran out of food. Go ahead and capture me. The dude shouts, this is a prison ship, not a cafeteria. 44 years ago, Pirate Island full of lead. So 2 years ago, after his whole situation in the Vodka Kingdom, you got Pirate shouting, he's so strong. Who is this guy? He's only 15. Okay, so before he was 13. So going by that, we had Kaido at 10, then Kaido at 13, and now Kaido at 15. Oh, you got Whitebeard there. Hey, you little snot, you want to be a pirate? Rocks wanted to meet you. What do you say? He Kaido just glares. And then someone shouts, Kaido's joined the Rocks Pirates! They're unstoppable now! Interesting, so he just joined up just like that. A lot of people theorize that Rocks had beaten down Kaido and invited him in, but no. It seems like Whitebeard just rolled up and said, hey, Rocks wants you to join his crew. What do you say? And Kaido's just like, word. Like, I have to assume that Kaido had seen Rocks fight before, maybe. As simple as that, huh? And then someone comes bursting in. Kinda looks like a female almost. I think it's Charlotte. Lin. Someone's saying, big trouble, Kaido. Come with me now. We're going to God Valley. Huh, big trouble. Wait, so was the God Valley incident not instigated by Rocks? The way that person says that, it's almost like it was in response to something. I had assumed that, a lot of people assumed that Rocks instigated the God Valley incident, but that's not the way that sounds. So Kaido just kind of rolled through life, more or less, doing whatever he pleased, because other people would have just decided stuff for him. And then you got some pirates shouting, the Rocks Pirates are no more? What kind of joke is this? With all the monsters they've got? Apparently it was a sailor named Garp who did it. Nah, they just couldn't stand each other. No teamwork in that group. You got Lin shouting, where'd you go, Kaido, you big rat? Okay, so he just ran off after all of that. Okay, and now you got the day that he met Higurashi. She says, in the 10 years since that incident, you've become the embodiment of might, Kaido. Throughout human history, sheer might has solved all problems. Might makes right. Of course it has. Humans are animals. Survival of the fittest is the law of nature. And you can see King hanging out behind Kaido. I don't know if that's Queen. There's a big guy, but I don't think it's Queen. And Kaido says, you're damn right about that. Higurashi continues, and other Rocks remnants will make a name for themselves too, I'm sure. Weapons are what speak loudest in the world we live in, and I've got a deal you'll want to hear about. Okay, so it was Higurashi who made the deal with Kaido. Interesting. And then you have Kaido in Onigashima shouting to his men, we're gonna take all these pampered, noble-born rulers and drag them off their ivory thrones down to the battlefield with us. Rah! That's what I call equality and freedom. A world where only war decides a man's true worth. Okay, I can understand why he has that philosophy. He's grown up in war. War was what got you honored. War has got what you got you praised. And it was only when the fighting was done that people didn't see a need for him. So if there's a world of perpetual war, more or less, and might makes right, then Kaido always has a place at the top. And Kaido talking to King, I wonder where that kid heard it. Yamato dropped Joy Boy's name. Okay, so he didn't know that Yamato had the book. And he says apparently Oden's desire to open the country is meant to welcome Joy Boy. If he's the same as the man you're waiting for, King, then I think I know who Joy Boy is. And King says, who is he? Before the flashback trails off. I know who Joy Boy is. So Kaido was ready for Joy Boy. Some people have said that, theorized that Kaido was waiting for Joy Boy, wondering who he was, when he kind of realized that he wasn't going to be Joy Boy. But I wonder who he theorized Joy Boy was going to be. Did he think maybe Ace? How long ago was this? Did he know that Roger had a son? Did he think it was Shanks? We then cut out to Onigashima in present. The clash between Luffy and Kaido is still going on. They're hockey clashing something fierce. You see the last remaining CP0 agent skywalking his way away, just he must know Luffy's not dead. They didn't accomplish that mission. They didn't capture Nico Robin. Interesting. Meanwhile, Momonosuke shouts, "Luffy will win! I know he will!" Yamato then shouts, "Do it, Momonosuke!" And Momonosuke cries out as he tries to produce more flame clouds. "Come forth, flame clouds! Do as I command!" Meanwhile, in the Flower Capital, people are still tromping it up. We then cut under the dome performance floor. As Kid looks up, I guess wondering what the rumbling's all about. And you see Kawamatsu, who's at the performance floor, seeing the waters crashing over Onigashima Castle, with people crying out, "What's that sound?" Raizo shouting, "Save everyone, water of Zo!" Jinbei still redirecting the water downward. And you see Brook and Robin caught up in it as Brook tries his best to crawl out. You see Roddy and BB caught up in it. You see the Heart Pirates, namely Beppo, Sachi, I think Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin, caught up in it. You see Apu and the one number he was with caught up in it. And even Trafalgar and John Bart and a few other Hearts Pirates are just staring it down, about to be crashed with it. And the water finally hits the main floor, about to envelop Kawamatsu, Yatabe, Hyogoro. I also see Usopp desperately clinging on to Kinemon and Kiku, while Hamlet's just free-floating. And then you have Nami grabbing onto Otama as Chopper freaks out as Nami cries, "Water!" And then you just hear it squirting out of the bottom of Onigashima and over the sides. And then you have Sanji and all the geisha as Otome clings on to Sanji desperately, as Sanji with a heart in his eyes and Chuji on his head saying, "Where's the water coming from?" And Frankie, still carrying Zoro, is shouting to the beast pirates who tried to follow under him, shouting to them as they're swept away, saying, "Hold strong, don't get swept away." And meanwhile, there's one room untouched by the water, the room where Orochi burns to death, the treasure repository, second floor, as Denjiro speaks to Hiyori and says, "You have been so brave and strong for all of these many years, Lady Hiyori," as she sobs in his embrace. Nice little kindling of Orochi's head on the ground. Meanwhile, other people cry out, "Does it feel like the island is falling?" Oh, I guess the water dispersed the flame clouds. As Yamato cries out to Momonosuke, "The flame clouds disappeared! We're going down!" Momonosuke freaks out, "Onigashima is going to fall!" Meanwhile, as Kaido's flame dragon form continues to bite down on Luffy's fist, he shouts to Luffy, "And what kind of world can you create, Straw Hat?" And Luffy, grinding his teeth in pain, says, "I'll make..." Oh, he's doing it. Momonosuke, he cries out, "Come forth, flame clouds!" and just splooges flame clouds all over the place. Momonosuke freaks out, Yamato freaks out, and just like that, Momonosuke just pulls Onigashima right out of the way. Just like that. As Luffy's fist finally manages to overwhelm Kaido's flame dragon form. As Luffy says, "A world where my friends can eat as much food," as the fist slowly just grinds into Kaido, smacking him down. As he says, "As they want!" And boom! Kaido is sent flying straight down into the ground. And as the dust is just coming up in the distance, a good ways away from the Flower Capital, as the lanterns just float harmlessly in the sky, and Kaido is sent plummeting through the ground. He, penetrated something. I don't know if it's just the ground that he hit or what, but you can see a literal Kaido-shaped hole, and Kaido continues his flashback. King, I think I know who Joy Boy is. King says, who is he? Kaido says, he's the man who shows up to beat me in the future. And King just smiles. In that case, I suppose we'll never see him. Oh, man. You see Onigashima in the distance past the flower capital, slowly floating down. The people still cheering as they see the skyboats off. Meanwhile, Onigashima finally lands, and Momonosuke passes out as Luffy falls to the earth. It's finally done. It's finally over. You know, it's not like I'm overhyped that he's finally done it, because, I'll be honest, the moment I saw the giant fist, I'm just like, that's it. That's the final clash. How are we going to do it? And then Kaido's magma dragon form comes out, and it's clashing with Luffy. I'm just like, there it is. The final struggle. We've seen it so many times. That final clash where it's just Luffy's will needs to overcome the will of his opponents. We've seen it in Luffy versus Katakuri, Luffy versus Doflamingo, Luffy versus Caesar Clown, Luffy versus Crocodile, Lucci, Eneru. There's always that big final feeling clash that happens. And this felt like it. It really did feel like it. And the moment we got Kaido's flashback, that's what I was waiting for too. Because I knew that Kaido was thinking that Joy Boy would be the man who beats him. For a second here, I thought he had a specific person in mind, but it's no. It'll be the person who defeats him. And there you go. It's the perfect way to cap this. If Kaido comes back after that, I'm sorry, no. Oda set it up so well thematically. It's just he'll be the man who beats me. Boom. Kaido is defeated. Kaido is literally buried in the ground. Big Mom and Kaido were on the top, and they were brought to so low, they end up underground. It's hilariously thematic. It was a good hit. And Luffy crying out, I'll make a world where my friends can eat as much food as they want. I feel like that's that one wish he wanted all that time ago. That's what I think is also what Roger said. He wants to create a world where people can eat as much as they want. It's a very childish dream. At least I think so. Maybe him stating it now, maybe it's too much, but Luffy has finally defeated a Yonko. And it didn't feel like an easy victory. Not at all. Far from it. This was a hard-fought battle. Between Kaido taking on the Scabbards, to taking on the Worst Generation, to taking on Yamato, to the repeated rematches with Luffy, who just couldn't stay down. There are so many times when the thing that really seems to outdo most people is the fact that Luffy just won't stay down. They can take down Luffy, it's just the fact that he keeps getting back up. And past a certain point, they're just yeah, I've never had to use my ability this long. I've never had to attack this long. I've never had to pull out all the stops this repeatedly. Now, Momonosuke finally bringing out his clouds. Okay, feels like it should have been a foregone conclusion, but it is hilarious how he just poof, there it is, lassos Onigashima and just hauls it off to the side oh, don't mind me. It's silly and kind of funny, but it's the fact that it's just Yamato crying out, it's now or never. The flame clouds that were there before are gone. There's nothing holding this place up anymore. It is going to fall. But then cutting to pretty much everyone, all of the Straw Hats, we got updated with Frankie, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Chopper, Usopp, Robin, Brook, Jinbei, as well as their allies. It feels done. But that flashback was pretty cool too. But it really does feel like it's just the backstory of Douglas Bullet. But then again, people having similar backstories isn't uncommon in One Piece. Like, Kaido fought for his kingdom and was shown to be strong. He wondered, okay, are the celestial dragons strong? Why do we obey them? Nobody really listened to that. He was still strong in his country, but his country didn't see the purpose in keeping him around anymore. He didn't want to go and work for people he didn't find strong or capable, so he escaped, only ever using the Navy to essentially eat. Ended up at Full of Lead Island, joined Rocks because I guess he thought they were strong. Rocks got beaten, he left. Kaido's demeanor of might makes right. Honestly, it's simple, but it makes the most sense for his character. Honestly, the way he's done everything up until now. Honestly, the one thing really separating him from Douglas Bullet is the fact that I fucks with Kaido's ambition a bit more than Douglas Bullet. Like, Douglas didn't command men. He didn't command respect. People didn't follow him out of a sense of their fear or feeling like he's the man who will rise to the top. And Douglas was just a berserker. And Kaido was a little bit more than that. A lot more than that, honestly. Like, I really like Kaido. He's not my favorite villain, but he is a very fascinating guy. It's just that at this point, I find myself thinking, what happens to Kaido now? Does he appear later down the line, try to reform his crew after this defeat? Because at least with Big Mom, she'll always have Whole Cake Island. Unless that place gets sacked in the worst type of way. And there are so many islands to, Totoland is just like, okay, I don't know if you can really take down that whole entire place. But with Kaido, he only had Onigashima. And every aspect of his organization has been turned on its head. His forces, his backing, everything has been turned topsy-turvy. So it really does leave me wondering, where does Kaido go from here? Because with all of this having happened, would he get back up? Try to take things over again? And Big Mom, she's not really after Wano. Wano's not really the thing that interests her. But for Kaido, what happens now? Does he get captured? Does he get imprisoned? Does he just break out again? What happens to Kaido after this fact? That's what I'm wondering. Like, Kaido's defeat felt like a foregone conclusion. It's what comes after all of this that I'm fascinated in. Sucks that I have to wait 2 weeks for that, but them's the breaks. It is what it is. Oda needs his rest. But where do you go from here, Kaido? One defeat. Hey, it is what it is. It doesn't stop Kaido from being one of the strongest people out there. Again, I went over how many dudes it took to really just take Kaido down. Yeah, Luffy really showed Kaido the business, but if it was just Luffy from the start to finish of their fight, Luffy would not win. No, absolutely not. And he shouldn't win. There's still room for growth for Luffy. I like that. But for Big Mom, I really do think Elbath is the next arc. Big Mom will terrorize Elbath. It feels like the next place to go. So tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. Do you think this is it? Kaido's final defeat? And if it is, what happens to him next? What's to stop him from going after Wano yet again? Yes, all of the forces are defeated, but are the world government just gonna roll in and ship them out? Will it really be that simple? I mean, they're conveniently there. Would just capturing Kaido be the boon that they need to F off and leave Wano alone? I'm interested to hear from you. But hey, don't miss out on the next video, so subscribe, why don't you? Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. Until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.